quick from Dampier, and Nowitzki able to put it down.
Well, he just changes the game out there. To have a guy that size who can step 25 feet away from the floor and knock down shots just opens up the entire floor and the whole offense.
Nowitzki pushing it. Nowitzki with the lead. Harris able to save it. Nowitzki, yes, a rainbow this time from Dirk Nowitzki.
Well, he showed it all on that possession. It's not just about the jump shot, it's the push ability.
In 2011, the NBA was a very different league than it is today. The Lakers were led by the late great Kobe Bryant and were looking to three-peat. The Spurs were still a dominant force with all their stars in the middle of their primes. The Thunder were an up-and-coming team that featured the likes of Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. And the newly formed Miami Heat super team included LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. Now, what did all these teams have in common? One would say that they were some of the most memorable teams in recent history. They all included MVPs and championship level talent. And although that would be true, I'm here today to tell you about one of, if not the most impressive championship run I have ever seen. But first, let's take it back to the very start. In 1994, a young German teenager by the name of Dirk Nowitzki joined a team in the second division of German basketball, where he would make a name for himself as an excellent shooter and natural scorer. He outplayed the competition and would be invited to the 1998 annual Nike Hoop Summit event, where he would get the chance to play against stars such as Charles Barkley and Scottie Pippen, even dunking on Charles and putting the world on notice as he put up an impressive scoreline of 33 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 steals. This performance led him to being drafted 9th overall by the Bucks and immediately traded to the Mavericks.
With the 9th pick in the 1998 NBA Draft, the Milwaukee Bucks select Dirk Nowitzki from Würzburg, Germany,
who saw immense potential in him. His rookie season was not successful as he struggled to adapt to a new language and a more physical play. His second season, however, the star was born, and the incredible story truly began as he improved from 8 to 17 points a game and led the Dallas Mavericks to 40 wins despite missing the playoffs. By his fourth season, Dirk averaged 24 points and was named an All-Star, leading his team to a 57-win and 25-loss record, good for the second seed in the West. It appeared that all his career was going in the right direction, but the Dallas Mavericks seemed to always fall short of a championship no matter what team they could put around Dirk. They had done it all, from losing to the Heat in the 2006 finals to being upset by the 8th seed Warriors. And yet, in 2011, at the age of 32, in what would be one of his last chances at the superstar level on a contender team, Dirk Nowitzki did the improbable. This is that story.
At the start of the 2011 regular season, the Mavericks were coming off multiple disappointing playoff runs and had lost in the first round 3 of the last 4 seasons. They were not considered a contender, and Dirk was now infamously known for his playoff struggles. They came into the season looking for redemption, and once again, in the regular season, Dallas was lighting everybody up, with Dirk having another dominant season, but this time with a supporting cast that looked like they really could help Dirk win his first championship. The entire team consisted of veterans who had been on contending teams, but none of the entire roster had ever won a ring. These veterans included Jason Terry, Jason Kidd, Shawn Marion, Tyson Chandler, and of course, Dirk. This team was full of championship-hungry veterans who came together for the single playoff run. After a very strong and dominant regular season, the Mavs secured the 3rd seed and faced the 6th-seeded Blazers team that included Brandon Roy, LaMarcus Aldridge, and a prime Nicholas Batum. Yeah, I know that's not necessarily the most impressive team, but it was yet another test that would give the Mavericks trouble, especially once Brandon Roy got going. After going up 2-0, the Dallas Mavericks would lose 2 games in a row, and their championship hopes seemed to vanish. In Game 5, however, with the pressure all on the Mavs, Dirk dropped 25, and in Game 6 another 33 to send Portland packing. This, in my opinion, was one of the determining couple of games for the Mavs, as it helped give them confidence and taught them to play until the final whistle and to not let themselves be comfortable. Next would be the defending champions. In 2011, Kobe Bryant was coming off 2 championships in a row, and the Lakers looked unstoppable. They had finished with the same record as the Mavericks, but coming into the series as the defending champs, were deemed the heavy favorites to take the series, and were the favorites to win the entire title. Even as heavy favorites as they were, the series did not go their way, as from the very first game, it was clear the Lakers would have no matchup for Dirk, throwing any type of defender they had on him with little to no effect, as he averaged 25.3 points per game on incredible efficiency, and the Mavericks stunned the defending champions who were favored to win it all. The single most impressive thing about this is that not only did they beat them comfortably, but they swept the entire series. To put this into context, Kobe Bryant was only swept 3 times in his entire career. 2 of those times included when he was in his 2nd and 3rd year. So, the Mavs are the only team ever that can say they swept a healthy, prime Kobe Bryant. Wow. Onto the conference finals, I guess.
In the conference finals, the Mavs would face a young, energetic team that had KD, the Beard, and Mr. Triple-Double. A team with all 3 of them nowadays sounds absolutely absurd, doesn't it? But in 2011, all 3 would compete for a spot in the finals against a veteran Dallas team. You'd think this team would be a tough matchup for the aging Dallas Mavericks, right? Well, no. You're wrong.
Bro, what are you talking about?
Dirk put up 32 a game. 32! The closest on his team was Jason Terry with 15. Not 50, 15. The Mavs beat the Thunder in 5 games, and in my opinion, this is the series people really started to appreciate this playoff run and appreciate Dirk. And they realized how much of the outcome of these playoffs rested on Dirk's shoulders.
The word decision can mean a choice, but also determination, perseverance, and resolve. Or for the Miami Heat, all of it. After a heavily scrutinized season, Miami's Big 3 are within reach of a title. The task will not be easy.
The Dallas Mavericks are going back to the NBA Finals.
A veteran opponent awaits. A superstar performing at his highest level with his own mission of redemption. Mavericks Heat. Game 1 of the NBA Finals is next on ABC.
Dirk Nowitzki knocks down his jumper.
Motivates him to continue to be great.
I disagree with that too. I think he was already motivated.
Nowitzki lays it up and in.
In Game 1, Dirk would struggle to find any type of rhythm, as the Dallas Mavericks would struggle to find their groove against the Miami Heat's Big 3, who would put up a combined 65 of the 92 Miami points. They would find no match for the Heat's athleticism and speed on the fast break, as Dwayne Wade would end the game with a daggered 3 nearing the end of the 4th quarter. The Mavs were down 1-0 for the first time in this entire playoff. In Game 2, It was more of the same for the Mavericks, who did not find any type of success from anywhere offensively and struggled to slow down the Miami Heat defensively. In the fourth, with 7 minutes and 14 seconds left, Dwayne Wade would hit yet another three to put the Heat up 88-73, their biggest lead of the game. The Heat were already celebrating their second victory, but the Mavericks had other ideas.
Back to Nowitzki, lefty layup, banks it in, and the game is tied. What a comeback from the Mavericks. Timeout Miami, a 17-2 run. And this crowd is stunned.
As they went on a 22 run in which Nowitzki scored 9 points and finished with 24 points, including the game winner. In Game 3, the series would shift to Dallas, and the Heat had a must-win game as they had lost the lead and they were tied 1-1. The Heat would stay one possession in front of Dallas the entire game, and with the last few seconds running out, Dirk would miss the potential game-tying shot, and the Heat would take a commanding 2-1 lead. In Game 4, however, with his legacy on the line, Dirk would fall victim to a fever and would play considerably worse. It was clear from the jump that Dirk would not be able to play the same way he usually did, and that the rest of the team would have to step up. And this is just what they did. Sean Marion and Jason Terry ended up leading the way, although even as sick as he was, Dirk still managed to notch a cool 21-point performance to even this series at 2 games apiece. In a pivotal Game 5, the game would stay close until the fourth quarter, when the Mavs would change gears as Dirk dropped 29 and Jason Terry 21. The Mavs would go on a series-defining run in the fourth that would lead to a win over the Heat. LeBron had yet another bad game and bad fourth quarter, and Jason Kidd was a big reason for this as he led the way as both a defensive and offensive anchor for the Mavericks. In Game 6, Dirk would struggle, but Jason Terry would absolutely take over for the Mavs. He would drop 27 on 11 of 16 shooting, and in the fourth quarter, Dirk managed to string a couple of plays together to help give the Dallas Mavericks their first NBA championship in franchise history. Dirk would be awarded the Finals MVP and the toughest road to an NBA championship ever been completed. Dirk had won without any other legitimate stars on his team against some of the best teams we had ever seen. He beat the Blazers, the Lakers, the Thunder, and the Heat. All teams who on paper matched up very evenly with the Mavs, and yet the Mavs beat all these teams without going to a single Game 7. This championship is the most meaningful in my opinion because Dirk had gone through so many playoff failures, and no one believed in him anymore. The hardest road to a championship ever. It's been your boy French Simp, and that's my take.